There is a big financial mistake that Wizards of the Coast continues to make with each and every set. They've done it again with March of the Machines, and it's going to cost them. Well, there you are. Welcome back, everyone. Thanks for hanging out with me today. MTG Moxman here, glad you made it out. Guys, there's a mistake. There's something becoming very apparent with each and every Magic set. Most people kind of know about it, but don't think about it much as it goes along. Let me jump into this right away, because this video is going to take a few minutes. Here is Elesh Norn, March of the Machine. This card has an average price right now of $24.59. You can see the pre-release price was well over $50. It's been crashing down. It's kind of leveled out. That's typical for release. But this is the most expensive card in this set, right? You look at it, you say, yeah, man, look at the gorgeous Elesh Norn. She's the Praetor. She's coming to get you. She's got amazing, cool etch things she does. She flips back and forth. She's a saga. She's a creature. She clears things. She comes back. It's an amazing card, right? It should be just the card everyone wants to talk about. But the funny thing is, it's not. And it's not the most expensive card in this set. And there is the problem. In a nutshell, why do we have Ragavan? A totally out of context card, other than the fact, yes, March of the Machines has a giant global invasion everywhere, but they put a card of high value to prop up this set. The mistake that they probably learned from Baldur's Gate, when they didn't put in certain cards to make that set kind of hold value, they went ahead in this set and they said, okay, we got to throw in some great value. We're going to throw in Ragavan. This card's like $60, $70, and it's going to keep some value there. It's going to make people want to chase the set. But that's the mistake. That's the problem. Go back to Dominaria 2018. What was the chase card? Mox Amber, great card, don't get me wrong. Some people saw value in it before others, but that was the most expensive card, and it was like $5 for a while. Right? Oh, maybe it was going to be Teferi, the hero of Dominaria. That card was at $50, $60. Right? Didn't need any fancy gimmicks, did it? Karn, Sign of Urza, that thing was $40, $50 for a long time. They all came crashing down, of course, but for a long time, those cards held value, and they held it on their own. They didn't need to be propped up by other cards from other sets, like Modern Horizons 2, trying to get that card out there. A premium set with a premium price. So you slide this card in, like Ragavan, into other sets, when the set really did not need your help. A good storyline, a good set with a good mana base, and you can get somewhere with a lot of these cards. Battle is a great little game mechanic. I think it's going to be kind of fun, at least for changing things up. But do we really have to have? Power cards like Ragavan do not need to be added into a normal standardized set to keep the value propped up. It should be reliant on decent mythics and, of course, other characteristics like a good mana base. Every great Magic set has had a fairly decent mana base that you could rely on. When you look at Ikoria, we have Triomes. New Capenna, they didn't do great on the set, but at least we have the other half of the Triomes already there. When we have Battle Bond, we got the Battle Bond lands. Of course, we've got fetch lands. When you go to Ravnica, we expect to see our shock lands. They need to broaden that stuff out. And of course, we need unique creatures. And the Phyrexians, in this case, really do fill that role. But you've got to give us decent mythics. You can't give weak... I don't think any set that has mythics in it should ever have a bad mythic. Mythics should be hard to get, and they should always be at least a half-decent card. And anything you think would be like a weak mythic, make it a rare. Bring it down in its rarity level cycle and just make it not as great or hard to find. Because when you get a mythic card, you want it to feel special, and that will keep players in tune with a set like this. And the mistake they make is they flood us with just crap mythics that nobody cares about. They don't see play, and it's just card filler chaff in a lot of cases. And they do this in the rare slot too, as they devalue the set and try to find ways to insert value by doing things like the serialized cards, which I have no problem with those. Serialized cards will really fit into a niche market of players who are looking for high value cards like that. It really will drive value in some areas. But they limit it, of course, to the highest end boxes, which is a problem for a lot of the players, to be fair, who have supported the company. Now, I have no problem. After a set cycles out with good, powerful mechanic cards found inside, ending up as premium reprint equity for Wizards of the Coast. They got to make money, and those who want to go after those reprints can seek them out. They can go after the high-priced reprint targets and have some fun when a reprint set comes along. But when an original set comes out, Khans of Tarkir, they gave us fetch lands inside that set. When you look at Ravnica, we've got all of our amazing shock lands. When we go to Ikoria, we've got Triomes now. Some of these lands came around, but they were in a regular box. They didn't have to be propped up as some specialty product, and we didn't have to have Ragavan or any crazy card like a Mana Crypt inserted to make us want to buy that box, to prop up the value of maybe a weaker set. Take a look at this card. You probably remember it from back in the day, and that is Avacyn Restored's Cavern of Souls. I remember opening 2 or 3 of these in one box because it's only a rare. And when you look at a card like this and its versatility and utilitarian purpose, it's an amazing card that players who opened it back in the day recognized the value right away and opened more boxes. We went hunting for cards like this, recognizing the value, and of course, it did go up in value. Within that first year or so, people started recognizing it and chasing after it. But it wasn't just that card. Guys, we also had cards like Avacyn, Angel of Hope. That card was like an $8 card at first. Then players, they really liked the indestructible aspect of it. And these are all found in the regular box. Yes, this was a mythic. Yes, it was hard to get. They had the miracle cards. We had the Craterhoof Behemoth in sets like this. Amazing cards to go after. And yes, the values do shoot up over time. Even if the card doesn't get played as much, if they keep the reprints down, the value is going to be there, because people have fond memories of those original set cards. So when they hit a reprint, other people might seek them out. Yes, power creep can be a thing, and you have to worry about cards overpowering them later, but that could be years and years down the road, and people who go after these cards can have a lot of fun when they first come out and play with them for years inside commander decks or other sets until a reprint comes along. And that's what I'm talking about when I say standing on your own 2 feet, not inflating a box price. I mean, when Avacyn came out, I paid $89.99 Canadian a box. When you look now, that was what, 2012? And we go all the way to nowadays, which of course, yes, I know it's 11 years later, but boxes have basically doubled in price in that 11 years, right? It isn't like the card mechanics went up that much. It's not as if the printing prices went up that much. I mean, inflation everywhere. I get it, guys. But I do, since I'm a long-time player, I do compare that stuff, because up to that point, for years and years before that, boxes were always 89 to 99 bucks. That's what I remember paying all the way back then. Yeah, I can't speak very well. I mean, that's what I remember as a player playing the game. $100 a box. For Mirage, Visions, I remember paying $100 a box. Me and my friends splitting a box, maybe 4 of us going in, 25 bucks a piece, right? And that's what we did back then. And that carried on for literally decades. And it shouldn't come as a shock that these box prices go up. But at the same time, the quality of the cards has gone down. We've seen all kinds of error cards all the time, problems even with the serialized cards. You also have the issue of the cards not being as powerful. You're getting, back then, all mythics were pretty good. Now we get junky mythics that nobody wants to play, and they end up in bulk bins. Wizards should not be creating mythics that aren't decent. That's why it's called a mythic. It's supposed to be hard to get. And if you want that set to stand on its own, then make the mythics good. Make them a little bit harder to get, so when players get it, they feel proud and excited, and they feel that passion of opening the packs again. This is not a hard fix, Wizards of the Coast, but as long as you keep making this mistake, there are a lot of players who don't need to chase down a Ragavan or a Mana Crypt. They don't need to chase down fetch lands anymore. You don't need to go that route. You need to expand your card base of qualifying cards for future reprint by giving us new worlds and new designs. To keep that financial train chugging along, they've got to be always expanding the multiverse and carrying that forward so players desire the new cards by making them a little bit more difficult to get. So when you do a reprint set, it might drive more value there. I mean, it seems common sense to me. I don't know what you guys are all thinking out there, but this is the way I see this problem each and every time I look at all these quotes and comments I've got. Inflating a set is no good if the cards inside are not desired by a large group of the players. There's Mana Crypt sitting inside every store I go into. It's been overprinted. It's not the card people seek. It's a great card. People recognize it has value. But if you give me Elesh Norn and made it a hard card to get, gave it a decent power level, which you did, it should be the sought after card. It should be the card people want to play in Standard and play in Pioneer. Why isn't it? Why are we talking about Ragavan? Guys, thanks a lot for hanging out on the channel. Slam those comments down. Let me know what you guys are thinking when you look at sets like this. And I'm sure a lot of you are going to say, I like Ragavan being there. I get that, but it should not be propping up the set as a whole to make value stay. Guys, thanks a lot for tuning in with the Moxman. I'll see you guys all tomorrow. And what would an end of a video from Moxman be without thanking the fantastic patrons of this channel who ensure that this content gets made each and every day. A big shout out to the awesome fans of MTG Moxman. Patrons rock! So you made it back to the end again. You're ready for this, aren't you? You wonder what we're going to talk about soon? I'm not going to spoil it yet. We're going to hang in there a little bit. Gotta hang in. Gotta hang in. But you know what? It's going to be good. Can't wait to show it to you. Can't wait to talk about it. We're going to have a good time. And you guys will know because you're here at the end of the video. Awesome. Thanks for being here, guys. Have an awesome day.